Om Sahana Bhavatu Sahanau Bhunaktu Saha Viryam Karavavahai Tejasvinavadhitamastu ma vidvishavahai. Om Shanti. Question from Bilagi. Is he there? I don't know. There. Without studying section 1, if we start practicing section 2, will there be any difference in the effect? I'm assuming he is referring to Vedanta Treatise, section 1 and section 2. The book Vedanta Treatise, we have 2 sections. Section 1 as Introduction to Vedanta. Section 2, Practical Vedanta. So now what he is asking is, suppose I don't go through this introductory session at all. I straight go to Practical Vedanta. If I start doing whatever is given there in Practical Vedanta, will there be any difference in the effect? Definitely there is going to be a difference. Now, difference in the sense, it's not that you will not understand, it's not that you will not grow. The depth of your understanding will vary. Because if you have gone through this portion, Practical Vedanta, carefully, by now you would have come to one understanding that there is nothing practical in that portion. In a sense, there is nothing that you can start doing straight away from that portion. For example, states of consciousness. What can you do there? What are you going to practice in that states of consciousness chapter? Renunciation chapter, meditation chapter, the state of enlightenment, human composition. If at all you can think of something that you can do, you have only 2 chapters in that entire section. Self-analysis and the 4 yogas. Rest of the chapters is nothing doable. Because unless you have established in that state of renunciation, you cannot do meditation. That is what he is explaining in the chapter. So for all practical purpose, meditation chapter also nothing practical, in the sense doable, that I can do from today. So therefore, we recommend people to go back to the basics first. First, get on with the introductory ideas, basic ideas. There, you get a basic practice of learning. But most of us are not interested in fundamentals. Like when you are going to learn writing, they say keep a finger between every word. 4 in the hand, 4 in the mind. Isn't it? All that if you are told, we feel, that's all for kids, not for me. What we fail to recognize is when it comes to this field, application of usage of your subtle intellect, you are to be treating yourself like a child. But our problem is we cannot treat ourselves like a child. We treat ourselves like an adult. So they say, if you want to stop your old age, the pace in which you are getting old, if you want to arrest it, what you should do? They say, learn a new language. Why? All these years you have been saying A, B, C, D. Suddenly you have to say A, B, Te. It sounds like, goat. That's how it will appear to you. And then those teachers will ask you to repeat it. And you feel so uncomfortable. But you look at a child, it doesn't have that discomfort at all. It will repeat. You teach a rhyme to the child gets excited learning a rhyme. Do you get excited learning a rhyme? If you, that's not for, for mature people like us. Now, with reference to that language, you are not mature. You are still a child. So you should be willing to live like a child with reference to that field. You wanted to learn any new skill, remember, new subject. And here we are coming to a totally new equipment itself. You have to start using the equipment which you have never known to have been existing with you, called subtle intellect. Now, straight away, if you are going to a subtler ideas, difficult. Having said this, there is a possibility a person can quickly move through the introduction and then spend more time with the practical one. The second section, practical Vedanta. But you can't skip it. If you skip that and come, you would be in trouble. You would not be able to enjoy the depths possible by you. Why? Because of lack of preparatory training. When you are not able to swim on the surface, attempting to swim underwater is not going to be possible at all. First, learn to float. Just learn to float first. When you say that you learn to float, you are saying, why can't I learn, underwater swimming? That's not possible. You would not be able to enjoy the benefit. And no one can stop you, right? But you can't get the best effect. It will be, the effect will not commensurate your effort. That's what I meant. You will slog and slog and slog, very little effect only you will get. One. There's a second question. Bala Subramanian. Objectivity means maintaining an impersonal, detached attitude in life, not being involved in the affairs of the world, quote unquote. Those who are detached, not lost in their own field of activity, are said to be objective. Correct. Does this mean one should not be involved in the performance of action? Kindly elaborate. See, objectivity refers to your attitude. Objectivity is not in the action. There are two aspects. One is performance of action. Another aspect is with what attitude you perform that action. With what understanding you perform the action. Objectivity means your actions were guided by your intellect. That's called objectivity. Put it in a very simple way. If you remember, we have seen the three transactions of life. Receipt of a stimulus, reaction within, and a response to the world. There are three transactions happens in life. You receive a stimuli, you receive the sound, smell, taste, touch, etc. The stimulus enters your system through the senses. That stimulus sets in a reaction inside you. And then you throw back response to the world. Now, objectivity means that ability in you not to allow that stimulus to directly interact with your desires. That is called objectivity. You just detach, you create a space between the two. Don't allow them to get into that directly. Say, for example, you have desire for cricket, sport. You are interested in sport, you are wanting to follow, not to play. I'm not talking about playing cricket. I'm saying you are interested in watching cricket match. Right. Now there is a class. Now between the two, which is you can't attend both. So you have to make a choice. You have to choose either attend the class, forget the match, or forget the class, attend the match. Saying what? Anyway, the class will be available in YouTube. Right. So that's why part C I am planning not to put it in YouTube. If you come to online class, you come, you attend, or else forget it. If you miss a class, you missed a class. Because part C of Vedanta Treatise demands X amount of basic commitment. See, that's why we are having classes in those days. You remember? We used to have classes offline, real class. Now what is it? You can keep munching and start attending the class also. There is no problem. But you can't do that in the offline class. Why? You have to get ready, travel, come, sit there. This is a preparation needed. You see. Now the person says what? Anyway, the class is going to be available on YouTube, so I will watch there. But cricket match, you can't watch. Recorded match. See, recorded match has no interest. At least you must have that much of sense in the fellow not to see the result. And then you watch the recorded match. But unfortunately, you get to know the result. After that, there's no fun in the match. If you know the result, there is no fun. See. So you will say what? One fellow. Another fellow says what? He says, no. Between the two, which is higher, which is lower, I am willing to sacrifice, willing to subordinate my lower instincts, lower desires for promoting the higher. This understanding were to be there, then what you will do? You will not be allowing that stimulus of IPL match going on. I don't know who's playing today. Team, I think yesterday they started playing. From today, there's going to be another team or two teams. I don't know what. This is a proof, lower and higher. This is, you create a distance between the lower desires coming and interfering with your higher desires. That is called objectivity, which has got nothing to do with the third step, performance of action. See that? Objectivity is to do with your internal understanding. This is where intellect comes into picture. This is why I said objectivity is intellect reacting to the stimulus. That's all. Objectivity, all that you need to understand is very, this way is very simple. Instead of getting into too much of complications into the subtleties and all that, essentially you should understand like this. Any concept, first try to understand in the simplest form. In your own terms. So objectivity means what? Lack of objective involvement means what? Allowing the stimulus to react with the desires, impulses, emotions, likes and dislikes. That is called involvement. Opposite of involvement is objectivity. Opposite of stimulus reacting to the mind is stimulus reacting to the intellect. That's all. Then comes response to the world. If you are able to engage your intellect at the level of reaction, your intellect would be available automatically at the level of response also. Mostly. Very unlikely that your intellect is available at the level of reaction, but not at the level of response. Why? Response is expression, gross. Reaction is subtle thought. Since your intellect is able to establish its presence at the level of the subtle, it goes without saying, it should be available at the level of gross as well. But sometimes that gap can create. To fill that gap only, we were given that practical exercise in the portion, self-analysis. The chapter self-analysis is a practical exercise. The practical exercise of introspection. Introspection will fill in this gap. Your intellect's availability at the stage of reaction, but by some overlooking, it is not available at the level of response. Now, how do you fill the gap? To fill that gap, you are recommended that exercise called introspection. Now, introspection, I suppose. All of you should be familiar with the idea of introspection. Why do you do introspection, sir? Introspection will not build your intellect. Remember, we have told that several times. Then what is the role of introspection? To whom it is useful? Introspection will do only one. What? Intellect which is available at this level of reaction to be available at the stage of response also. Sometimes it can miss, just to remind yourself to be available, introspection. Then how do you make your intellect available at the stage of reaction itself? That is the exercise called reflection. will strengthen your intellect and make it available to do that distance, to show his presence. You need that strength. Intellect needs that strength to outshine the pressure of your mind and prove his presence. So therefore, reflection will help you to build objectivity. So what is objectivity, sir? Objectivity, point number one, is nothing to do with action. Then what is objectivity? Objectivity is an attitude with which you perform action. It is distancing. What is distancing? Immediately we think distancing from the world, detaching from the world. That's where the problem is. Detached attitude. That word has created that trouble. Because it says no. Objectivity means maintaining an impersonal, detached attitude in life. In life, immediately you have to go back to traffic of life. What's the traffic? There are three transactions of life: receipt, reaction, response. So where do you locate objectivity, sir? First, locate at the stage of reaction. Then it will automatically show its presence in response. Keep doing that. Keep doing it, keep doing it, keep doing it. A point would come where you would become objective to the very stimulus itself. There you would be called as an objective person. Till then, you are still attempting objectivity. You are trying to become objective. That's about it. But when we say trying to become objective, don't try to start practicing. Somebody asked. So you only said, no, practice. No, you can't do that. Don't do that. Then what you should do? Reflection and introspection. Reflection will make your intellect stronger, and the strong intellect's presence, mind will not be allowed to directly interact with the stimulus. You have gained 1/3 objectivity. Then introspection will ensure that you are doing. So the two sides of a pedal: reflection, introspection, reflection, introspection. When you do this, you hit the peak of objectivity where you can become objective with reference to the very stimulus itself. You don't get involved in the stimuli itself. But don't try to practice objectivity with reference to the stimulus. No. Then what you should practice? Reflection, introspection is what you are supposed to practice. That's why practical exercise, he gives only these two things. Nowhere else he says practice, do this. The entire book, only two things were told. Do. What? Reflect, introspect. Reflect in the morning, introspect in the evening. Done. Nothing else to do. During the daytime, do whatever you want. He doesn't care. He says, I don't care about what you do. Because if you do these two things, this itself will take care of your day's activities. You don't have to worry about it. It's automatic. Once you have built the muscles in the gym instructor doesn't care about how difficult it will be for you to lift your wife. If you have that muscle, you can lift. If you are not having it, what can you do? If you attempt, what will happen? Don't try, we say, isn't it? Don't try to lift her. Just show a picture, put them on the stool and take a selfie as though you are lifting. That's all. But don't try all this. Why? Because of muscles. Now, where do you build a muscle? By lifting your wife, you can't build your muscle. You have to go to gym, lift this. For which he will say what? First do warm-up exercise. And then he will say, do this exercise. And then he will say, cool down. Do all this. Keep doing it for a period of time. And then he would say that you have to take rest. And then he would say you have to eat a particular thing. And suddenly he will say, don't do these things. No, you are not allowed to do it, he will say. You can't do this. You can't do that. You can't eat this. You can't eat that. You can't do this action. You can't have that habit. You can't have this habit. All that he would say. After doing all that for a period of time, then does gym instructor had to tell you what to lift in the house? Cylinder to be moved. There is no problem. Automatically you will lift the cylinder and move it. You have to, last week this happened here in our apartment. Suddenly all the 3 lifts collapsed. Now we have 3 lifts here. All 3 collapsed. One fellow had to go to 18th floor. He didn't know what to do. So what he did was, he went to the next tower, took that lift, went up to the terrace. From the terrace, he came to second tower terrace. From that terrace, he climbed down. Because he says, instead of climbing up 18 floors, it is easy for me to climb down 10 floors. This is easier for me, he says. Now, if you have built the muscles, if you have that stamina, if you have that strength, no need to worry about what situation is. Automatically, your muscles will support you. Your strength will come to your aid. Automatic it is. You don't need to worry at all, actually. That is why in Vedanta, we say, don't worry about practice Vedanta. How to practice this, how to practice. We say, don't worry about all that. Reflect, think. And I can be 200% sure none of you are thinking. The proof is, by now I should have got at least 50 questions. Right? Each person should be having at least one question in your life, no? With reference to Vedanta. Nothing is there. That's why I told her to put it up. Say, put it up. Let's see what happens. Why? Only when you think you will get questions. When you are not thinking, you will not get any questions. You see, you'll say what? Yeah, whatever you say, correct, sir. Yeah, if you are saying correct only, no. Yeah. Now, issuing certificates to me or objecting to whatever I say is not going to help you in any way. Accepting my views or non-acceptance is not going to help you in any way. Appreciating and accepting is not what is expected in Vedanta. Here, practical exercise means your ability to reflect, question, think. How do you know you are reflecting? At any given point of time, the number of unsolved questions will be more than your knowledge. It should be increasing more and more. Your questions should be increasing more and more in your life. Our problem is we have all answers. See, the problem is I have all answers in life, sir. You only have to ask questions. That's it. This is what we'll tell people. See. No, your questions should be more than your answers. At any point of time in life, if you are going to be evolving, growing, you have to reflect. Through reflection and introspection, your intellect will get stronger and makes itself available. So when it is stronger and it is available, sometimes a strong, not available, let's say, what is the point? Like sleeping. You're a strong person who could have done the job of lifting the cylinder from there to here, but unfortunately you are not there at home. What happens? Similarly, your intellect may be strong, but at times it may not be available. To ensure that the strong intellect be available throughout your waking is what introspection is all about. By that, you live your life. Whatever that you do after that, we don't care. That life is called objective life. It has got nothing to do with, should not be involved in the performance of action. No. In fact, he will be performing more action. That's why Krishna defines. Fascinating portion. In Vedanta, defining, yoga. See, Patanjali defines yoga in one way. Right? Vedanta defines yoga in a different way. He says, yoga, what is yoga? Samatvam yoga uchyate, 46. Chapter 2. They say, equanimity. All of us say, oh, that's exactly what Arjuna, at least Arjuna would have felt that. He says, this is exactly what I'm also telling Krishna. Immediately he comes in 48 and says, yoga karmasu kaushalam. Dexterity in action is called yoga. Combine the two, that is yoga, he says. Yoga is what, sir? Samatvam and karmasu kaushalam is called yoga. Dexterity. Dexterity in action, dynamism in action is not performance of action. Non-performance of action is not Vedanta. In fact, sattva, if you take, you say evolution means tamas to rajas to sattva, sir. What is a sattvic state? If you want to understand sattvic state, you have to understand sattvic state only in terms of action. Obligatory action is called sattva. In one word, or okay, two words. Right. What is sattva? Obligatory action. Anytime, anywhere you discuss, you think about sattva, immediately this thought should come. Obligatory action. Rajas, what is it then? Agitation. Rajas means agitation, disturbance. Tamas means, don't say ignorance, because you will not understand. You can't connect. You see, it is, you can't understand it. Tamas means what? He defines that. Tamas, he says pramada, heedlessness. That's called tamas. You are heedless, irresponsible. You don't care. You see that you don't non-application. It's all heedlessness qualification. I'm explaining what is it. Sattva. If you say objective person is a sattvic person, then what he must be doing then? Is performing action. Sattvic person is performing action. And then how can you say objectivity is, does it mean that you should not be involved in the performance of action? No. You should be totally immersed in the performance of action. To such an extent where only action exists, you don't exist. Today, you're all performing action, but Action is not existing, only you are existing. Action has no existence. Only you. Only me comes no first. I and me only gets pronounced more than action. Important. Am I having that importance? If you are not, if you are not going to be treated with that importance, your inspiration to perform that action, what happens to that? Yeah, that's whole thing is lost. So therefore, we say objectivity means maintaining an impersonal attitude, detached attitude in life, not being involved in the affairs of the world. You don't get involved in what's happening around you. What's happening there? What's happening in the neighbor's house? Who's coming? Who's going? What of it to you? Some sound comes from the neighbor's house. Immediately you go and check, isn't it? What's happening? What happened? It's so interesting to see. The lady of the house also sitting in the same house. The man will ask her, have you seen? What's happening there? Hey, I'm also sitting in front of you only, no? You think I have some extra sensory perception to, you think I'm a superwoman or what? To see through the walls, to know what's happening in the neighbor's house. It's so interesting. This man is asking her, say, what's happening there? She's also there only, no? At least if she is coming from that house, we can ask her, this man, then what is he asking? Why is he asking? Why? Just like that we ask. For what you need to know. For what you have to comment. For what? Answer that question first and then do whatever you do. We don't care about it. If you can do this, that is called objectivity, which has got nothing to do with doing an action or not doing an action. You may choose to do, you may not choose to do. That is totally different equation, because performance of action is guided by another principle. It has got nothing to do with objectivity. You see that? Objectivity is your attitude. That's it. You can have two attitudes in life, either involved or okay. You can take three: indifferent, involved, objective. You can have three different attitudes in life. You can become indifferent. You can have an involved attitude, or you can have objective, detached. Right? What we know of in life is only two. Because we know only I know. I, all the time, I means what? Indifferent or involved. Only these two I's we know. You know indifference or you know involvement. Now suddenly this man is standing. He is talking from a third possibility. Objectivity, he says, we can't understand. So we try to understand the unknown through what is familiar to us. What is familiar to us? Indifference alone is familiar to us. So the qualities of objectivity is resembling closer to what is familiar to us, indifference. So we connect objectivity is indifference. So indifference, what you don't do anything. So therefore, an objective person also will not do anything. No. Objective person will be fully engaged in action. But what action? His actions will be based on obligations. If we engage in action, our actions are engaged based on desires, likes and dislikes. He operates on obligation. We perform actions on desires. There's a world of difference. But nevertheless, he also performs action, we also perform action. So in terms of performance of action, there is no difference. Then where is the difference there? What is behind that? The performer. The performer has a different personality he is carrying. What is it? One fellow comes with indifference, another fellow comes with total involvement, another person comes with objectivity. Detached. That is the one. So detached person doesn't mean you should not be involved in the performance of action. You should be involved. Right? Attitude and action. They are two different things. Next question. Prajna Rao. Please explain evolution process of animals. Can animals with no conscious effort multiply or reduce vasanas? Animals don't evolve. Spiritually, biological evolution is a different equation. Okay, just because we use the word evolution, don't get mixed up. See, biological evolution is a different process. In that sense, even animals evolve biologically. Biological development keeps happening, changes keeps happening. But that also is a long period of time. It doesn't happen in a very short span. It takes a long period, 500 years, 1,000 years, 2,000 years, 5,000 years. It takes so much of time. It changes, it grows. The coronavirus changed, no? It became better, isn't it? Mosquitoes are getting better. I've seen pictures. This, that mosquito repellent, that liquid is full. The liquid is there and it is on. Mosquito is sitting on top of that. One fellow has taken a picture. It is there. He sent it to me. I don't know whether he took it or he got somewhere. A fascinating picture. That's why this Baygon spray, they have to keep changing the formula. Why? Because the next generation cockroaches are stronger than the previous one. They have adapted, they have evolved into the conditions now. That is why two things in India they say you can't eliminate. Both starts with C. Cockroaches and corruption, they say. It will not go. You do it, you can do whatever you want, man. That will not go. Corruption and cockroaches cannot be destroyed. Why? Because they can adapt and evolve. Evolutionary means adaptation. Remember, evolution is based on this principle of adaptation and readaptation. Adaptation, readaptation. Because world is in a flux of change. Constantly, the world is changing. So you need to adapt yourself to that. That adaptation and readaptation is the principle of evolution. Evolution, biologically, don't take it as we become bigger and bigger. Immediately don't take that sense. If that is the case, then the size of the blue whale's brain is bigger than 4 times of human brain. Okay, so you can't say size defines. Size doesn't define evolution. You see, evolved. This is more evolved than, means this is more adaptive to the vicissitudes or the complexities of nature. Nevertheless, animals' evolution, all that is discussions with reference to biological things is not the purview of Vedanta. We don't discuss about it. That's not our field. We discuss only pertaining to the field of spiritual. In spiritual, evolution means what? First, we have to define that. We have to define the meaning of the word evolution first. In Vedanta, growth, evolution, development, all this means what? Now, you can have your own definitions. But when you come to a subject, the subject says this word means here this. Now, we can't say, I'll give my own definition and talk. That is not possible. See, in structural engineering, the word stress means something. The stress, when they say, it has a different meaning there. When you go to a subject psychology, their stress has a very different meaning, isn't it? Pressure. I never knew this sometime, only when Manjunath told me, they told me, sir, in eye, the pressure has increased for him. So he had to go through on surgery there. I didn't know. I said, oh, so there is pressure in the eye also. Pressure there, pressure here, stress. A linguist uses the word stress as a different meaning. So each field has a specific one called as paribhasha. So when you come to Vedanta, here evolution means reduction of desires. Vasanas. As you say, vasanas. Reduction of desires is equal to evolution. Then what is devolution? Means increase of desires, increase of vasanas. So reduction of desires is equal to evolution. Increase of desires is equal to devolution. Evolution, devolution. Increase and decrease can happen in two ways. Increased intensity or increased numbers. Number can increase or intensity of the desire can increase. It's only same desire, but the desire's strength has grown. No new desire has come in. Same way, decrease of intensity, decrease in number. Possible, no? This, if it happens, it is known as evolution and evolution. Now we come to the idea of, okay, how are you increasing or decreasing? What is the mechanism behind increase of desire, which is familiar to us? Easy for us to understand. Reverse it, decrease. Increasing is what we have been doing. So what are we doing? How do you develop a desire? Constantly brooding, repeating, constantly thinking over and over again of the same. Chapter 2, verse 62, 63. dhyayato vishayan pumsah sangasteshopajayate sangat sanjayate kamah. So how kama developed? Kama developed from sangha. How sangha came? Dhyayatah. So vishayadhyayatah, vishayadhyanam developed sangam. Sangam developed kamam. Then kamam developed krodham. That's what he is going to say next. Then krodhat bhavati sammohah, sammohat smriti vibramah, smriti vibramshat buddhinashah, buddhinashat pranashyati. That we know. Buddhinashat pranashyati, you should know at least. If you don't understand all other things, at least understand that line, that statement, half line. Buddhinashat pranashyati. Now, dhyayatah means what? You are musing. You are mentally repeating that thought of that object. How do you repeat the thought of that object? There are two ways in which you can keep repeating the thought of the object. Musing means only these two things. How fantastic that object is. Did you see that car? Beautiful. Look at that upholstery is there. You sit inside that car. It's like sitting in a cradle. So comfortable it is. Fantastic. Superb. This. Or the pleasure that you enjoyed when you experienced. Two things you do. Either you appreciate some quality of that object or being, whatever, that experience, that object to be experienced. Or you start mentally repeating how pleasant, how pleasurable was that object. How pleasant that experience is. I can never forget. A lot of people say, still that is there in my eyes. Beauty. Beautiful one. Beautiful one. Beautiful. You go on saying that again and again and again. Right? So what are you doing? Dhyayatah means two. Either you go on appreciating the quality or go on appreciating the pleasantness of that experience. Quality of object or pleasantness of the experience. Referred as Shobhana Adhyasa or Sukha Adhyasa. You keep on repeating mentally. By this, you increase. Reverse of that, you decrease. That's all. Very simple. This is called evolution and devolution. Now come to animals. Right? Does animal get into beauty? They don't care about beauty at all. See, a dog will be mating with a dog which has skin rashes. It doesn't have any problem. It will not say, you look so ugly. No. Did you take bath? You don't smell good at all. It will not say. They don't care about all that. Isn't it? One dog will not look at another dog and say, oh, you look so beautiful, or you look so ugly. Only humans have this breed. The higher breed dog, lower breed dog, it is only as far as humans are concerned. But as far as dogs are concerned, there is nothing. Dog is a dog, that's all. There is no classifications amongst them. They don't have that. And they don't go for the tasty food. Oh, that is really tasty, man. We should have that. They don't go in search of tasty food. They just need food. That's it. They don't go by which part of the body is so tasty and order that. Like, chicken biryani. I say, this is not there. That is not there. Leg piece, I didn't get. The fellow says, hey, chicken has only 2 legs, man. Huh? How many leg pieces again? Only have 2. That's all. We have to create, genetically modified, Imagine chickens were to be like our, what is that? Caterpillar, no? The 1,000 legs, it has. I'm forgetting the name of that. Caterpillar, no? That 1,000 legs. Like that, if you have, then there is no problem. That's where I always says, leg piece I didn't get. Now imagine everybody have to get a leg piece. Now where we will go? I fellow says, like leg, he gives something. Now we have to eat that. There's no choice. We cook, we eat, we drink, we breathe. When you see animals, they never have any preferences. You know that? We say tigers don't eat grass. No, they do eat grass. You know that? When a tiger is were to be having stomach upset, it will not eat meat. It will go and eat a particular grass for 2 days. That's it. They don't care how tasty it is. Have you added this tea with sugar, without sugar? With ginger, without ginger. Ginger also you must have that much only. That. And then the fellow says, this tea, that tea. First time I had jasmine tea. I say, why do you put jasmine? Jasmine, I know is people keep that flower in the hair. That I have seen. The fellow says, I'm making jasmine tea. This tea, that tea. We see us doing all that. Animals don't have any preferences at all. That means they cannot be going through the process of appreciating something, not appreciating something. They don't even have that artistic sense to see something. See, they don't have that. They just see, that's all. They never look the beauty in that. A buffalo looks up. When in the morning sunrise happens, the buffalo looks up. But it's not going to stand aghast, seeing the beauty. No, they don't have that. Aesthetic sense is not there. Only humans have got that aesthetic sense, that through that we are able to understand what a possibility of Shobhana Adhyasa and Sukha Adhyasa. They are capable of doing it. Animals are not capable of doing it, which means they cannot strengthen their desires. They cannot increase the number of desires also. Since they cannot increase, they cannot be having the choice of decrease also. Isn't it? You can't say, this is not given, but that is given. Could be not a logical argument at all. This is how you analyze. How you analyze is like this. First, you understand what is evolution. Is a word which is used by evolutionary science There they talk from a different philosophy talks, Vedanta talks from a different angle. What is philosophical definition of evolution? Decrease of desires. Decrease of desires equals what? Equals two things. Decrease in terms of numbers, decrease in terms of intensity. Okay. Now, opposite of that is increasing. Now, if increasing is not possible, then decreasing also cannot be possible, which means they just live plain. No fluctuations, no ups, no down. They just move in one straight line. No up and down. So animals cannot be having that too. Therefore, we say, can animals multiply or reduce? Not possible. They cannot increase their desires, nor can they decrease their desires. Please explain the connection between spiritualism and religion. Is there dependency on each other? See, spiritual and religion, both are same. Right? They are the same thing. But for some convenience purpose, at times we use it in different context. Right? Dependent on each other, it's the same thing. So there is no point in saying it is dependent. It's like saying right eye and left eye. See, if you want to see, both the eyes have to come together, no, to see. Imagine one eye goes this direction, another eye goes in that direction. What can you see? You will still see, but your vision will be distorted vision. It's not that you will not see. You will still see, but you will see not one Ishwaran. You will see four Ishwaran sitting and talking. And you will say, all four talk same thing, sir. I don't know, miraculous it is. All four fellows speak the same thing. Same way they are. Same dress they are. There are not four men, there's only one. Why? Eyes are going in different directions. But there are two eyes. See, same way. For a reference purpose, we have started using these two. But strictly speaking, they are not two different things. They are one and the same. So don't go out and keep saying, I'm spiritual but not religious. No, that means I'm living with one eye. I have one eye, sir. It won't look nice. Your vision will not be clear. That's what it means. Because if you have only one eye, let's say, imagine, if you have to see anything this day, you have to turn. Only then you can see. Otherwise, you can't see. It will be like a crow. That's what they say. Crows have only one eye. They can't see with both eyes. It won't be. It's not balanced. Remember, spiritual and religion. But having got into so much of problem today, somehow we have to establish there are two different words. Then, okay, we'll say, chalo. Then what we used to say is, spirituality refers to the philosophical dimension and religion refers to ritualistic dimension. That's all. The ritualistic dimension of evolutionary recommendations is given as religion, and this. In the Vedic language, the Karma Kanda portion would be religion, Jnana Kanda portion would be spiritual. But what you don't understand is, you cannot segregate it like that. They are all mixed up. See, you cannot categorically define and say, at this point onwards it is, before this it is. You can't separate it. Like when you are seeing in your vision, can you segregate which is the part played by your right eye, which is the part played by your left eye? You cannot. There's a big theory we have, right brain and left brain. Now they're saying there's no such thing. Latest research, they say, the scientists, they're saying, no, there is no division in brain. It functions as one unit. Don't divide it. Because that appearance of that looks like two aspects. Therefore, we have started claiming what? It is this, it is this. They said, no, it doesn't work like that. It works as one unit. Brain works as one unit. Similarly, spirituality and religion are one and the same. But still, we have to somehow make a distinction between these two words. Then the way people make the distinction is this. That is why many people will keep saying nowadays, you hear, I'm spiritual, not religious. What they mean is, I'm interested in philosophical part, I'm not interested in the ritualistic part. That's all it means. In the practice part of it, in those aspects, I'm not interested in. I'm interested only in this. You can take that stand only if you are capable of taking a position in science. I'm interested only in theoretical science. I am not interested in technology. Pure science. Science has two aspects, no? Pure science and applied science, which is called as technology. Your whole life you are living on technology, and you are denouncing technology, saying, I'm interested only in pure science. I'm interested only in mathematics. Mathematics means what? I'm going to study only BSc mathematics, MSc mathematics. How many students are there doing BSc mathematics, MSc mathematics vis-a-vis engineering? How many of them are studying pure physics, chemistry? Vis-a-vis people going for this chemical engineering. See, to talk, it will look fantastic. If you convert, you'll understand the stupidity behind it. It's like a man saying, I am not interested in technology. Imagine, one fellow comes and tells you, sir, all technology should be scrapped. We should retain only pure science. Because essentially, what is important? Pure science is only important. No. If someone were to talk to you in the worldly subject, in science, how would you respond to him? Is the way Vedanta will respond to you when you come and say, I'm spiritual, not religious. It's the same stupidity. It is same ignorance. That means what? You have not understood science, nor have you understood technology. Mathematics also you did not understand. You did not understand physics, chemistry, biology also. Both you didn't understand. Engineering also you didn't understand. You have no clue of what you are talking about. This is what you will say. If I come and tell you, we should close all this. All these problems is because of technology. Technology all scrap on it. Let us keep only pure science. You will laugh at me. Same way, there is no difference here. Are they dependent on each other? Yes. Why? Because both are one and the same thing. They are mixed up so much so that you cannot separate one from the other. Therefore, it is the same thing. So remember the example. Two examples I have given you. Is science and technology. So anytime you were to think in terms of spirituality, religion, immediately bring in these two ideas. Is vision and science, technology. The one who is living only with technology, which is lot of people use what is actually useful to the world, where people will spend more time in learning, is technology part, not pure science. Pure science is designed only for few people. However, without pure science, no technology is possible. But for a common man, which is important, which is relevant, technology alone is relevant for him. He need not know like how a mathematical formula of Ramanujam evolved, used into creating this cool laser beam. The eye treatment they use cool laser beam. Some time back I had to get operated. So when they said laser beam, I said laser kannla adicha, what will happen to the eyes? I said it'll bore a hole and go the other side. I don't want that. I said no. They said this. I said how can you have a cool laser beam? How do you convert it? The formula was given in one of the theorems propounded by Ramanujam. I said, if Ramanujam comes, he will get confused. He'll say, no, what I spoke, what you people are talking, there's no connection, he will say. You see, but from there, it has to be direct. But without that, this wouldn't be possible. Now, there are hundreds and thousands of people and millions of them are getting benefited. Thousands of people are studying, using it, learning it. What? Technology. Millions of people are getting benefited out of technology. Rare few go into pure science. You are not the rare few. When in the worldly subject you are not capable of going to pure science, you come here and tell me that I'm interested in spirituality, I'm not interested in religion. In Tamil we say, no, kaal kuttiyachi. Say, they put that hole, no, the ears. It's been done to me in childhood itself. I tell people, even when I was child, people could not do that to me because it's not done for me. So piercing, is not done to me. Not because of anything. There's no money. That's all. To do that, there's no money. Therefore, I forget it. We'll see later. Later never came. I say, don't try all that with. So therefore, that modern understanding people have today. Simply say, spirituality. Let us retain spiritual. I want to become more and more spiritual. I don't want to become religious. You can afford to take a stand like that, provided you have the courage to accept, acknowledge when somebody comes and says, technology is useless, pure science alone matters. Therefore, I'm going to put my child to study pure science, not technology. I will discourage my son, my daughter to study pure science. I will encourage them only to study pure science. I will not allow them to study technology. I do that. Then you can say. Otherwise, it is not. So therefore, what is spirituality and what is technology? Technology is the application part. Knowledge to be applied. When it translates itself into application part, it will be complicated. Sometimes you can't even establish a connection between how that gets into application here. How is like the entire computer that you are transacting with, You talk various languages to it, but it understands only two things: 0, 1, 0, 1. That's it. How can you convert that 0, 1, 0, 1, 0, 1, 0, 1 into all that you are seeing on the system? All that you are reading, all that you are watching, all that you are hearing, all the colors, this, that, everything is what? 0, 1, 0, 1, 0, 1. You are saying, sir, I am going to study only 0, 1, 0, 1, 0, 1. Neo can do it. You know who is that Neo? Matrix. Pathingla? You have not watched that movie Matrix? Watch. There that fellow sees everything as 0, 1, 0, 1, 0, 1, 0, 1. If you can also see like that, then you can afford to take a stand. Spirituality, not religion. Otherwise, to keep talking about it is just a child's prattling without understanding what is what you are talking. Example I have given you. Example is science and technology. Pure science and technology. Science means both, actually speaking. Science means pure science plus technology put together is called science, actually. Right? Pure science and technology. Like pure science, mathematics. Mathematics and technology. How that idea comes here. That you have to see. Right? So we'll see in the next class. Thank you.